I'm going to share with you how I grew my personal brand from 0 to 1.2 million followers in 72 days, closed a 5-figure sponsorship deal, and quit my manual labor job, all through short form video. If that isn't a hook, I don't know what is. I am so excited to be here. I am going to be peeling back the curtain on every single thing that I learned, that I did right, and everything that I did wrong on growing a personal brand from 0 to 1.2 million in under 3 months. Out of the entire course, this video is the most important, so I would hate for you to skip and miss something that's super vital for your success. So don't skip ahead. Don't skip this video. Pro tip though, if you want to speed things up, watch it on 2 times speed, because that's what I always do. And this is everything that I wish I would have known. And I'm so excited to bring it to you because, quite frankly, a lot of people put this stuff behind a paywall. And full disclaimer, I'm doing this so you hopefully like me more. And we run a paid community where we do live feedback, we do live Q&A calls and stuff like that. But you don't need any of that to succeed. That's just for people that want to fast track their learning. But I'm giving this to you so you can go at your own pace, learn as fast or as slow as you want, but you're not going to have any more excuses after you watch this on how to create successful short form videos, grow a following, grow a brand, and are able to really either get sponsorships so you can quit whatever occupation you want, or continue to work 2 jobs and double your income. Or if you're a business owner, you can also drive traffic to your offers or products, whatever you're looking for. So I'm super excited to be here. Let's jump in to week 1 of short form mastery. So the first thing I want to talk about is what's all the hype around short form video? Why should we even pay attention to short form video? I am very confident that the fact that you even click on this video is because you understand the power of short form video. But in case you don't, I remember working at a construction job, and we all got into the break room at one point, and I was sitting there trying to recover, trying to rest before I had to go back to the grind. And I remember looking to my left, and I was working next to an older gentleman. I want to say he was like in his 60s. And he was looking down at his phone, and I just happened to glance, and the 60-year-old was on TikTok. And he was watching people dance. He was watching different videos, and he was just scrolling away and didn't care who anyone was or what anyone thought of him. He just was going to town. TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, it is not for just the teenagers. And I'm pretty confident that you know this by now, because you probably enjoy some form of short form entertainment on social media. But for anyone that is unsure, short form is here to stay, and it has a massive grip on society as far as attention spans go. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. You might have different opinions on whether short form and our short attention spans isn't a good thing. But regardless, that's where the attention is in today's marketplace. And so wherever you can drive attention to is really power. I think the most powerful person in the world is the one that can drive the most attention to any direction that he or she desires. So short form is here to stay. Just some stats: 70 billion daily views on YouTube, 200 billion daily views on Facebook and Instagram, only 167 million views on TikTok per minute. There is so much traffic. There's so much content being consumed in short form content. It is one of the most powerful ways for you to build a brand from scratch with relatively low barrier to entry. You know, I started trying to, and we'll get into my story in a bit, but I tried to create long form videos maybe 2.5 years ago to become the next Mr. Beast through the challenge based videos, through entertainment. And I amassed maybe 18,000 subscribers, which wasn't anything compared to the people that I were looking up to. And I remember getting so discouraged because I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong, how to break out of the noise. You know, there's just so much competition out there. And I had a friend who told me to start posting shorts, and I did not take her advice on it. Lo and behold, I ended up, taking a step back, and we'll get into my story, but when I came back and jumped into short form, it was incredible because I didn't have to have everything figured out. I didn't have to have all the pieces in the building blocks of creating a viral video that I'm going to give you in this course. I didn't even have to have all the pieces for me to start building a brand and actually drive enough attention to where brands, actual people with products, wanted to holler at me to market their services or their products to my followers and to my audience, which allowed me to step into this thing full time. And so that's what I want to give you. And I'm going to give you all the tips, tricks, failures on my part, like things that I wish I would have known. But it's so easy to get views. It's so easy to get attention. You just need some building blocks. And so that's what I'm going to give you. And yeah, it's powerful for brand building, audience engagement. Did you know, I looked this up actually across a couple different marketing companies. They've run polls and short form content. I think this is just because of the quantity of views that short form videos are pulling. But across the board, short form video is pulling 2.5 times more engagement rate than long form videos, and allowing people to monetize through a plethora of different ways that wasn't available before. And we're going to go over those monetization methods in this course. But enough about short form. I want to talk to you about my story, right? How I got started. When I first tried, I was doing marketing for a company, a construction company, and ended up leaving that to try and become the next Mr. Beast. Fell flat on my face. And so I actually went back to the manual labor job, and this time I just picked up a manual labor position. I was pouring concrete for a company, and which isn't bad at all. But if any of you understand hard labor, it's definitely taxing. And I'm not hating on the blue collar workforce. We need them so much, and I have so much respect for them, but that's not what I wanted to do, right? I wanted to create content to feed my family through media, right? And at the end of the day, now I'm at a point where, and you might be wondering, like, why would I share all the secrets? I've gotten to a point now where I've experienced freedom out of a life that I didn't like, and now it's my personal goal and purpose on this world to give you the tools and the ability for you to experience a life that you want, right? And so that's why I'm even here sharing this. Obviously, I'm trying to build a business off the back of it, but I understand that you won't care about any of that stuff if you don't get started with and start achieving success for yourself. And that's why I want to give this all to you for free. So my story went from the construction company. I really didn't enjoy who I was as an individual. And I remember looking in the mirror and hating the man that looked back at me. I had just started learning about ice baths, and this was something that I wanted to push myself to do because I wanted to increase, I guess, my resistance to pain. Really just wanted to, I felt like I was in such a rut in my life where I wanted to break out of that. And so I wanted to do something uncomfortable every single day, embrace the flinch of something uncomfortable, and prove to myself that I have what it takes to build a life that's bigger than just this rut that I was in. And so that was the whole motivation for me to start taking ice baths. I also wanted to create a career out of media. So I decided to turn the camera on. And my first video was horrible. It was like 60 seconds long, and I doubt anyone stuck around for maybe more than like 3 seconds. And it was totally okay because I just got started. And I started uploading every single day. I took an ice bath, and then I tried to immediately iterate and practice and figure out what I was doing wrong, study the analytics, study the retention charts, and I'm going to teach you how to do all of this stuff. But I took every single video, tried to learn from it, and immediately apply everything that I learned into the next video. And it took me 16 days of uploading to get 1 million views on Instagram, over 100,000 on TikTok, and 45 days before YouTube took off, right? So Instagram was the first one. It took me 16 days and I got my first 1 million views. Day 17 took me to 3 million views. And from then on, it was off to the races. And then I had brands reaching out to me saying, hey, what you're doing is really cool. Can we provide you a free ice bath? And I said, actually, I'm generating millions of views. If you would like to pay for some product placement on this daily series, you can provide me a retainer fee as well as the product, and I will become an exclusive partner with you. And so that's exactly what we did. After 45 days, we had closed a 5-figure sponsorship deal for multiple months. It was ridiculous. It was more money than I had ever seen in my life at that point in time. And I want you to experience that. And so that's why I want to give this to you. I want to give you the building blocks that I needed that would have sped me up so much faster. I mean, 45 days isn't that bad, but I've seen people using these tips and tactics to blow up even faster. And so yeah, that's my story in a nutshell, and here I am giving it all away for free. So let's jump into the course curriculum and give you an idea on what we're going to get into. Now, I have this course broken out into 5 weeks because there's just a ton of stuff in here. And in this first week, you're going to get everything. We're going to introduce you to short form content, everything you need to get up and understanding the social media algorithms, because if you can understand what the algorithm and the audience is wanting, then you can create for that and blow up much faster. We're going to set up your social media profile so that you don't have to rebrand down the road and you can achieve success and just build a brand from the ground up. We're going to give you everything that I needed when it comes to content research and ideation, and some tips and tricks, as well as like all the tools you need that I've discovered that helped me come up with better video ideas. And then we're also going to talk about, and this is really where it gets crazy, we're going to talk about a viral video and 2 different aspects of it. The first side is we're going to talk about the tangible pieces of a viral video, which hooks, lighting, storytelling and payoffs, sound recording and sound design, which is one of my personal favorites, Easter eggs and isms, and that's going to be one of the main ways you go viral, incentivizing engagement, and a couple more additional points to consider. And then the other side of that is we're going to talk about the psychological pieces of a viral video. And this is stuff that I don't see anyone stinking talking about. We're going to talk about emotional engagement, shareability, timing and trends, quality and accessibility, and unpredictability and novelty, right? These are some massive unlocks. And yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to get into it. I'm so excited. I'm super excited for you to understand everything that you need to understand when it comes to content creation, and to understand the algorithms, and really whether you create that. This is the beautiful thing about this. Whether you create a brand through short form content, long form content, podcasts, live streaming, or you take your skills into other media or marketing in general, you're going to learn so much from this, to the point where you could approach any company and said, let me be part of your marketing team because I understand what gets clicks, the psychological and non-psychological things that work in today's marketing economy, right? And it's just going to set you up for success, and it's all going to be for free. So let's go. There is something important though that I want you to remember. All the information in the world is great, but if you do not act upon that information, then what good is it going to do for you? And I understand, odds are you've probably taken some online courses in the past, and obviously we are all incentivized for you to act out on the free value or the paid value that you get, because if you can achieve success, it helps us market it. That's the way we get testimonials and stuff like that. But because this is free, I don't really I'm not gaining anything from this monetarily to give this to you. I truly am sharing this for you because I want you to live what kind of life you want to live, whatever that looks like. And only you know what that is, whether it's more money, whether it's more freedom, more time to invest in your family. I had 0 time to invest in my family before I started doing this. And then even though life got crazier in some ways, I was able to take time away and invest it in my family. And that was so important for me and my wife and our 3 kids. So whatever that is for you, I'm just excited for you to experience that. But if you don't take action on it and apply some of these tips and tactics and tools, then you're never going to start building the skills that you need, because I can't give you the brain. I can give you how to learn, but you only learn by doing. And that's why I'm trying to express, one of the most important things I did was literally just get started. And my first videos tanked. It took me 16 days, 2.5 weeks. If you want to think about it that way, 16 days is not a lot of time for you to blow up on social media. But if you had no assurity that anything was going to pop off, would you be able to commit to 16 days? Would you be able to commit to 30 days? Would you be able to commit to 90 days? It's really your ability to commit is going to be one of your biggest unlocks to creating a career out of this. And so I want to encourage you that I have failed a lot in the past. And so I took those failures and applied it to this thing, and I was able to blow up in 16 days. And so if I can speed up the learning curve for you, maybe it's not 16 days, but maybe it's 30 days. Maybe it's 60 days. I don't know what it is. It really comes down to the speed of your execution. So let's get after it, right? And obviously, I personally learn so much better from feedback, right? And that is one of the most powerful things that I've discovered, because I remember I had an opportunity to connect with some large creators, and they were willing to give me one-on-one feedback on what I was doing wrong. And because when you're posting things and nothing takes off, you don't really have enough market data to even analyze retention charts or click-through rates or anything like that. And so to have someone that has walked the walk and has figured out and has failed a lot and is able to point out the things that I couldn't see, that feedback was invaluable to me. And so that's what my paid premium community is all about. So if you want to check that out, it's totally awesome. We got a lot of people in there. We're doing live Q&As. I try to get in as much as possible and give real-time feedback to people on their videos. And we're even having some people already start to pop off using the same exact strategies that I'm going to teach you in here today. And the price will be increasing as more courses get added. And as the community gets larger and larger, because then it becomes more and more valuable, right? But right now, we've just got it a super low price. I believe it's at $25. I'm not exactly sure what it will be at the time that you're watching this, but you can go check it down in the link below. Yeah, if you have any other questions, do not hesitate to reach out, leave a comment, and I'm super excited. I hope you are too. So without further ado, let's get into lesson number 1. Okay, so the first thing that we need to talk about in terms of short form content is to kind of understand the characteristics of short form and why they work. Okay. And out of the entire course, this video is the most important. So I would hate for you to skip and miss something that's super vital for your success. So don't skip ahead. Don't skip this video. Pro tip though, if you want to speed things up, watch it on 2 times speed, because that's what I always do. The first thing I want to bring up is the concise nature that captures attention quickly. What I mean by this is if you think about your favorite TV show, your favorite movie, or something like that, why do you love it? Do you love it because of the characters? Do you love it because of the things that happen in the movie? I believe that it has to do with how much serotonin and dopamine that you actually get consuming that content. Here's why I bring this up. When it comes to short form content, creators and business owners are restricted to 60 to 90 seconds with videos. And so if they aren't able to provide some sort of dopamine or serotonin hit within that time frame, there's no reason for anyone to consume that content. And so what people have discovered is that as short form has taken hold of the scene right now, with short form coming over from TikTok blowing up with the For You page, and then the other platforms adopting that short form style, they have realized that creators are able to adapt quickly. And a lot of people, especially long form creators, at first hated the fact that short form creators were achieving success because it exposed that the long form creators could be usurped, if you will, or taken out of the king's spot. And I believe it's two different sides. One, how much dopamine can you fit into the time frame? And so by definition, if I'm able to give you a good feeling in 60 seconds, and then a long form creator is able to give you that same feeling in 10 minutes, which one are you going to choose? You're going to choose my video over theirs because you can get 10 times the amount of hits in that same time frame. Now, this isn't to say that short form creators have the most pull when it comes to influence. And I really think if you think about the spectrum, the creators and business owners that have the most amount of pull are the ones that live stream, because those viewers spend insane amounts of time with the creators. And then in the middle, you have long form creators, and then short form, you have, quick dopamine hits, and we're able to keep attention quicker. But if you don't overcompensate with repetitions and consistency, then your pull and your influence isn't going to be as strong. But we're going to talk about this later in the course, but when you combine it with long form, that's where things really start to get powerful. But anyway, short form coming onto the scene exposed that we could fit storylines, great hooks, and condense everything that made a good video into a smaller time frame. And it really just exposed a lot of people. And so that's why, in my opinion, the short form content has been so effective in today's day and age. Now, to talk about the characteristics that are common with good short form video, you're going to be, in very simple terms, great visuals, great audio. Great visuals because some people scroll without audio even on, and so you need to be able to grab their attention through some sort of way, through visual storytelling, even if it's just ridiculous stuff or simple stuff. Good visual storytelling is paramount, as well as audio. And I think what's beautiful about these phones, right, is the fact that it's lowered the barrier to entry so low that anyone can pick up their phone, create a YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook account, and just film right there and then post it within 5 to 10 minutes. That's a crazy low barrier to entry. And what that has done is it's increased the quantity of people entering into the space. But why audio is so important is because when you have so many people coming in and they don't have good audio, but everyone is posting these videos through their phone, or at least a lot of people are. So we're expecting visuals from a selfie cam or a front-facing camera or something like that. That's what the viewer is typically expecting when they're scrolling through shorts or Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels or TikToks. So what you can do to set yourself apart from the rest is to elevate the sound design. And we're going to talk about sound design and stuff like that later in this course. But that's how you can separate yourself. But good audio because they're expecting the visual aspect to be somewhat similar to what they would film, but you can elevate and set yourself apart with different expectations with the audio and sound design. So easily another massive aspect of short form video and why it's so powerful is because it's easily adapted and shared across platforms. And I'm not just talking about a creator, but let's just talk about that for a second. The ability for you to make one video right now, this has never happened before in the history of content creation, but you can make one video in a vertical aspect and then share it to 4 different platforms right now. And there's more coming because everyone understands that video is the future, right? So Twitter is messing around with some video, and there's a couple other platforms. Snapchat, is trying to play the game, but TikTok and Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube obviously are the main 4. And never before can you just make one video and get 4 times the amount of reach just by posting it to 4 different platforms. And you don't even have to change anything. The only limitation right now is the time allowed for the videos. TikTok is like 10 minutes. Instagram and Facebook is 90 seconds. YouTube's under 60 seconds, right? So if you're making that 60 to 90 second, you might have to trim off some stuff for YouTube. But if you're under 60 seconds, you can literally post to 4 different platforms. And that's exactly what I did. I created content, and with the intention of blowing up on YouTube. And I actually blew up on TikTok and Instagram first, and then Facebook, and then YouTube. Oh, wait, did I say that right? TikTok and Instagram first, blew up to over 150,000 on TikTok, over 500,000 on Instagram, and then we blew up on YouTube like 45 days later, and then 90,000 on Facebook, somewhere in there. And so, yeah, if I had only been posting to YouTube, per se, sure, I'd get a silver play button and stuff like that, but I would have been missing out on 2/3 of my audience that I built, which would have made my brand sponsorship worth less, and yeah, it is literally so easy to just take 5 to 10 extra minutes and post it to everywhere else. So that's just from the creator side. The other side is why short form is so powerful. Just from a consuming aspect, is the viewers have such an the platforms have made it so easy for the viewers to share videos with each other. Like, they're literally optimizing the platforms around how easy it is to share and to collaborate and to create saved lists on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that. So that is what the platforms have been focusing on, and it's obviously working. Now, I've talked a little bit about this a second ago, but your ability to influence and create a relationship with someone really has to do with one single metric that you can measure. And I didn't realize this when I was building my accounts, but time spent, right? I just want you to think about that. How much time are you allowing your viewers to spend with you? And this goes back to my earlier point of why streamers and live streamers and long form video creators have more pull than short form creators, because the audience tends to spend more time with the creator. Now, the way we overcompensate for that is we need to upload more, but shorts are easier to make, not necessarily, but most shorts are easier to make than long form videos. And with these key points that I'm going to give you in this course, you'll be able to show up consistently in a way where you're able to develop a relationship through short form video. So, and then lastly, obviously all the platforms have optimized these short form videos for the vertical, aspect. And that is, you wouldn't think about that like as important, but the ability for me to just turn on my phone and I can just immediately start scrolling with my thumb it's actually a pretty dang optimized experience. Low barrier to entry for the consumer to get in and consume content. And so they're going to continue to iterate on that because it's more uncomfortable to turn your phone sideways. Like it just is, And it really goes down to the viewer experience, like, and the intention behind the viewer, which we'll get into this later. But why would someone scroll on shorts, right? It's a different vibe. It's a different time waster, or they're searching for a quick answer or a tutorial on something. It's just a different intention from someone that goes on YouTube and finds a long form video to watch. Like if for entertainment value, like they want to sit down and watch a 20-minute Mr. Beast video. Maybe they'll sit down at lunch to watch it, or they watch a storytelling masterpiece or something, and by Michelle Carre or something like that, where they throw it up on the big screen, their living room TV, and they watch it there, right? It's just a different viewer intention. And so short form video is definitely optimized for mobile viewing, Now, let's talk about short form video, where it falls within the content flywheel, because there's so many things that you can do to build an online brand nowadays. There's so many options. What is short form? Where does it fit? Because we want to create with intention. We don't just want to create and get followers. We want to create, what is the purpose behind the actions that we're taking? The way I like to think about it is, if we're hosting an open house and we want people to come in and check out the open house, they're trying to find out if they want to buy this house, we need to create yard signs to get people into the driveway, in the front door to see it, right? I think short form isn't just yard signs, but it's a good visual to think about it in the grand scheme of if you're doing podcasts, long form videos, short form, newsletter, written text, threads, tweets, different stuff like that. I think that creating yard signs that's a decent way to think about it. However, we get a lot more sophisticated later in this course on how to create a full dopamine experience through short form instead of just leaving them wanting more, because we want to create a fulfilling experience through each video that someone comes across for our platform. And we don't want to leave them empty-handed, because the completed action of giving them a payoff and stuff like that is typically what gets them to follow you and to click into your channel to find more stuff. So I would say that the role of short form is to give people a taste of how awesome you are, right? And if you don't have more stuff, which I didn't when I was first blowing up, if you don't have more things for people to learn more about you, I think you're going to miss out on some of the traction, because once your short forms start taking off, you're going to reach a large amount of people, and there's going to be a portion of them that click through to find out more about you. That's what I say is the main role for short form content. However, it's not just that. You can literally build entire brands. Like, I grew to 1.2 million just using short form, and I developed a relationship with my audience, and I created brand sponsorships. I fed my family. Like, you can do it just through short form. I'm saying you will probably go longer and further if you create long form videos as well. So that's that. All right, welcome to video 2, where we're going to break down the algorithms, right? Out of the entire course, this video is the most important, so I would hate for you to skip and miss something that's super vital for your success. So don't skip ahead. Don't skip this video. Pro tip though, if you want to speed things up, watch it on 2x speed, because that's what I always do. You might think all the algorithms are same. They all operate in a similar fashion, but there's a couple differences. But really what I want to break down first is the whole idea behind the social media algorithm. What is its purpose? I want to understand that. we need to understand, how do the platforms make money, right? Because the platforms are business. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. They make money by allowing advertisers to pay them money because they are hosting the party, if you will. That's where all the people are gathering to consume content, and so they allow advertisers to run ads to these people. So it's in the platform's best interest to keep the people on the platform as much as possible. How do they do that? Well, they have a sophisticated algorithm to show the viewer a video that they would want to watch. And they've trained the algorithms so well that the algorithms pay attention to our every single move, how long we watch certain things, what we decide to click on, and it develops a persona for our profile, and it tries to serve us the best videos that it thinks we will enjoy. And it's pretty dang good at it. So if you can understand what the algorithm is looking for, which really it's what an audience member is looking for, then the algorithm is going to work in your favor so much more. So I think it's important to understand kind of the whole business model of what these platforms are looking for so that we can play accordingly. So when we're talking about social media algorithms, they are paying attention to a handful of different signals. There's actually a ton of signals, but from my experience, a handful of signals have made the most impact when it comes to the impact of a short form video going viral, right? Two metrics on the retention side of things for like the video quality, and it's actually not a good way to put it, but the video quality is swipe through rate and the average view duration of a viewer. Swipe through rate. All it is how often or what percentage of 100 people are scrolling through your video within like the first 1 to 2 to 3 seconds that they land on your video. If they decide to stick longer than that, then the algorithm decides that that is a decent hook, and it compiles this data in combination with everything else. But that's what swipe through rate means. And some of the most successful creators that I've seen have averaged like 85 to 90% swipe through rate, which is pretty dang high. But that is one of the metrics that they pay attention to. The other one is average view duration. And this is simply how long are people staying on your videos? Because, like we said before, the algorithm's goal is to get people to stay on the platform as long as possible, because that way they can show as many ads as possible and make as much money as possible, right? So if they find a video that's going to keep people a minute longer on the platform compared to a video that keeps people on the platform for 15 seconds, you better believe that they're going to push the video that keeps people longer a lot more, right? So that is kind of the retention side of things, and that's what we're talking about when we talk about retention. The other side is shareability and notoriety, right? Likes really don't matter. Comments matter a little bit more, but shares is a fantastic metric to determine if a video is going to go viral or not. Because if you think about sharing a video, if a video is worth for someone to send it to someone else to get a view, it works in a couple different ways. One, by itself, that's already amazing. It's basically proof of word of mouth, right? Because technology has made it so easy for us to share for word of mouth. It's literally a click and click. They've optimized it so easily to share. You can actually, on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube too, actually, you can just hit share, and then it pops up like a bunch of recent friends, and you can just like scroll through and tap, 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 tap. You can share it to a bunch of different people. So that's like really powerful. The other reason that they like shares so much is because if someone is off of the platform and then they get a notification from their friend that, hey, check out this video, then they get into the platform to watch that video, and then it potentially puts them into a scrolling behavior to watch more videos. So they're actually starting new viewing sessions with all their network. So if the algorithm sees a video if it's shared to one person and that results in 5 of its friends becoming turning on their phones, getting into the platform, getting into a scrolling behavior, that is a freaking money maker for that video and for the algorithm. So it's going to push it out by like crazy. Now, if we want to work with the algorithm to increase your visibility, there's a couple things that I found that really seem to help the algorithm work in my favor. 1, consistency. I know it sounds cliche to say, but one of the first things that you usually have to overcome when you start a new account is for the algorithm to figure out who your content is for. And you can actually use hashtags and use niche specific, not sure how you say it, but niche specific hashtags to kind of give hints to the algorithm on who they should push your content out to. However, hashtags are not necessary at all for you to go viral. But consistently giving the algorithm chances to push your content out is a great way for you to get favor with the algorithm. And it brings up a great point. We need to understand how the algorithm actually pushes out your video. Right now, at the time of this recording, the algorithm will push your short form video out to about 20% of your followers. And if you don't have any followers, then obviously it's 100% of your non-followers. But if you do have it, it's probably 20% followers, 80% non-followers. And at the time of this recording, it might have changed, but that is typically how it works. It pushes it out to a pool of people. Some are your followers, some are not. And they gauge the scroll through rate, the shareability, and the retention of the video with that small pool of people. Once it achieves a certain level of metrics, then it graduates into another level, a much larger pool. And then you are granted a bunch of new views. And then it reevaluates. Hey, is this video worth it? Or are people sharing it? Are people enjoying this video? Are they watching? Are they looping? Are they sticking around? And if it continues to pass each level, that's how you have a video go viral. And that's why a lot of comedy videos go viral, because they're extremely shareable and they're extremely funny. People want to watch them over and over and over again. And it's extremely broadly appealing. Now, the more niche your content is, it might not appeal to near as many people. So if it's getting pushed out to a broad audience because the algorithm doesn't know who to push your content out to yet, then a lot of your videos are probably going to flop until it figures out that your content is for content creators or gardeners or carnivore diet enthusiasts or swimmers or whatever your content is built around. It's going to take a minute to figure it out. And that's why consistency is super important, because you need to give the algorithm as many chances as possible to figure it out. And what I've discovered is there is a catalog effect with the content. Once your content is like kind of nestled into a niche, because people will either scroll back and see where you started. They'll find new content that's being published as you're consistently posting. But when someone follows you, they will also get served up some of your best old videos as well, as long as it's all in the same specific niche. At least that's something that I've noticed when I will follow an account, and then next time I sign back on, and if they haven't posted anything recent, I'll get served something older but still viral from that content creator. So there is a catalog effect that you can achieve. So just be patient, until your audience is found. So something else that you can do to help the algorithm give you the maximum amount of views is this. A lot of people ask me about optimizing for posting times. And what I've been telling people is that posting times do not matter. I will still stand by that statement, but actually, let me say this first. A good video will get views, period. Okay? We don't need to debate that. A good video will get views. It could be posted at the witching hour at 3 o'clock in the morning, And when no one's awake, and a good video will still get served, it will pass the levels of those pool tests, and it will gain views eventually. However, if you want to help the algorithm by posting at a time when a lot of people are online, then the algorithm is going to have a large pool of people to push your video out to immediately after it gets posted. Okay? So that's why people harp so much about posting times. It's not to help your video go more viral. It's simply to make it go viral faster. Don't freak out if you missed your posting window. I still would say you can post it unless you're trying to upload daily. I wouldn't stress about it. I've had some of my most viral videos go crazy, and they were posted at freaking midnight, right? When no one was awake, and they still did really, really well. In fact, on YouTube, a lot of my videos that I had one video get me 250,000 subscribers off of 18 million views. Hear that again? 18 million views, 250,000 subscribers. And it was not posted. I don't even know what time it was posted. That's the funny part. Posting time did not matter. It had to cook for 50 days before the algorithm picked it up. That's what, it's crazy. People think they have an idea on the algorithm and what makes a good video and stuff like that. Sometimes you have a good video that might get pushed out to a wrong group of people. Maybe it just catches a bad batch of people that totally aren't interested. But if you keep showing up consistently, I gained more followers and views after I posted that one video on YouTube. And then the algorithm shared my video that I posted 45 days ago with the new subscribers. And the new subscribers love the video. So now the algorithm was like, oh, I was just showing this video to the wrong group of people. Let me show it to more like these people. And sure enough, it took it back through that system of small pool of people, measured their interest with it. It passed that level and just went skyrocketed and gained me 250,000 people off of one video. That play button from one video. People work years for stuff like that. And I'm not entitled. I'm extremely grateful. But I'm just saying, you're one video away from changing your life. So keep posting consistency, because you might have made a viral video. You might already have a viral video that's cataloged on your channel or your account. And all you need to do is post 20 more videos that get 1,000 to 2,000 views. And then eventually you're going to get maybe 10 to 20 followers off of that. And then maybe you get an extra 200 followers, and then they get shown that viral video and they love that video. And then it elevates. That's what's happened to me. I'm just telling you what has happened to me. You can take it or leave it. That's fine. Proof is on the shelf though. Now, we talked about this in a previous video, but if you're not uploading to all 4 platforms, I think you're really missing out. Not just on the audience that you might gain, because sometimes the algorithms show your pieces of content to the wrong eyeballs, especially when you're getting started. If you post it to 4 different algorithms, you're getting 4 chances to catch the right kind of eyeballs, right? And what I found, that same video that got 18 million views on YouTube and got me that silver play button, also got 3 million views on Instagram. And I believe maybe 500,000 views on TikTok, right? And it blew up on TikTok first. And then 10 days later, it blew up on Instagram. And then 45 days later, it blew up on YouTube, right? And it's just powerful, because when you get feedback from the analytics on all these platforms and you apply them into your next video, this is exactly what I was doing, right? I would post a video. I would give it 24 hours to see how it did. and then I would analyze if it did better or worse than my previous couple videos. And if it did better, then I would try to iterate more of that stuff that worked into my next video. And if it didn't, then I would try something different. Well, imagine that I posted day whatever of my series where it got 18 million views, but it was a 45-day delay before I got those views. If I was just posting to one platform and only analyzing that, like, I would have been like, oh, that video didn't work. Let me try something else out. And I wouldn't have realized that that kind of content or that format or something like that was working, because TikTok took off immediately to 500,000 views. And so I was able to utilize the data that I got from TikTok to confirm, like, okay, I'm on the right track. Let's apply that to all my future videos, and keep iterating on that. And then 10 days later, that same video took off on Instagram. And then 45 days later, obviously, on YouTube. So my point is, use all the platforms to get all this market data on what is working so that you can iterate way faster and focus and double up on the things that are working and let go of the things that aren't. Because if it's flopping on all of them, then probably you're doing something wrong. Utilize all the algorithms. That is such a massive thing. And I was doing that without even realizing it. And my hope is sharing all this information with you is the whole, like, it just gives you an element of patience. Like, obviously, if you're anything like me, you were hungry to make it, right? And there was nothing that was going to stop you from making it. But if you're able to be patient enough and understand all the algorithms and how they work, instead of getting frustrated when a video doesn't take off, you can be like, okay, let's analyze, let's play the game, figure out what didn't work, and iterate on it so much faster. So use all the algorithms in your advantage, and don't complain that the algorithm is shadow banning you or anything like that. It really is. Your good videos get pushed out. And I haven't made a ton of good videos. I've made a lot of decent videos, a few great, and a couple exceptional ones, right? And I never would have gotten to the exceptional ones if I hadn't done all the work of making all the bad videos. And not just posting random crap, but taking the time to really figure out why it didn't work. And we're going to get into the tactics and psychological and tangible stuff of what makes a good video. So you don't have to, that's why, oh man, I just wish I would have had this when I was starting, because like, it was just a grind, man. So I'm excited. I think this feels like a good place to stop talking about algorithms. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Okay, so this is going to be a shorter video, but I wanted to touch on the correct ways to set up your social media profiles in a way that makes sense, no matter what your purpose is for creating an online brand. It could be a personal brand, it could be a business brand that you're just trying to get your name out there, or you're trying to bring traffic into some kind of funnel or some kind of website or something like that. And I think there's a couple things that I want to share with you that I wish I would have known when I was first starting to do this, to help optimize for follows and conversions. Out of the entire course, this video is the most important, so I would hate for you to skip and miss something that's super vital for your success. So don't skip ahead. Don't skip this video. Pro tip though, if you want to speed things up, watch it on 2x speed, because that's what I always do. The first thing that I want to talk about is, and this is going to be difficult sometimes to achieve, but you want to try and get your identities as consistent as possible across the main 4 social media platforms, possibly 5 if you consider Twitter or X, Consistent usernames make it a lot easier if you have longer form content and you want to send people, or you hop on podcasts or anything like that. Having the same usernames will make it very easy for people to find you consistently. And if you ever try to sell anything, you want your profile to be, I guess, as iconic as possible, even if it is a personal brand with your name. The reason I would recommend doing that is because there are just so many scammers out there. And for your viewers' sake, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to identify you versus someone else, right? So it could be difficult to try and find the same username available for all 5 platforms just because there's so many people out there. But the more unique and iconic that you can make it, the better. Not because they will need it to necessarily find you, but more so just for you. You can just simply say, you can find me at jesse.ray.ford, right? That's my personal brand. That way, if anyone is ever searching or a scammer DMs someone with jesse.ray.ford1 or an additional dot at the end, something small that where people won't notice. If they're concerned that they're being scammed, they can check, the at username, right? That's why it's really important. Now, if you're running a personal brand, I would recommend having some sort of email located somewhere for brands to reach out to you for sponsorship deals. But it's really important that you do not use the same email that is linked to the admin part or the back end of your social media profile. The reason is because scammers and phishers will send you emails to try and get you to open up their email and click a button on it, simply to steal your information and get you locked out of your account. Because if they can get you to do that, what they're trying to do is they're sending phishing emails to the email that you have listed. But if you have the admin email that is controls the information on the social media profile, how you log in and stuff like that, if that email is hidden from the public, then you're going to be safe from this. Because if you have business inquiries email listed in your profile, and then you get an email to that email inbox and it's talking about you have a copyright infringement, we're going to delete your account if you don't click here to resolve the issue, or something like that. I've gotten so many different emails like that. If you see that, you're going to be like, oh, okay, it's just a scammer. And if you ever do get some kind of copyright infringement claim or something like that sent to your actual admin email, you're going to know it's coming straight from the actual platform. At the time of this recording, they're already decent, but who knows how much better they're going to get at scamming people. So just keep that admin email out of the public eye and you'll be good to go. But have a business inquiries email out there so that businesses can reach out to you, because that's where my 5-figure brand deal came from, right? It was letting people know that I was interested in running a sponsored deal. And then we got a bunch of business inquiries, and then me and my business manager helped negotiate these deals into the highest performing and highest betting players, right? And that's where we were able to feed my family, right, through the content. So that's really important. As far as profile pictures go, I've played around with a lot of different things. I've tried subtle, I've tried big. I really like iconic faces. Even if you're running a business brand, something that you will see that even the largest brands in the world that are adopting is, take State Farm, for example. They understand that even though State Farm, the insurance company, is a corporate brand, they very quickly understood that people buy from people. And that's why influencer marketing has been so powerful in the past. It's because a lot of people, it's kind of hard for them to trust a brand unless they're already established and have an established feeling that they already have with the brand and the customer experience. So what I'm trying to say is brands are pressing more into individual profiles to pitch to people, right? So that's why State Farm brought in Jake from State Farm. And then for this past Super Bowl, they brought in another character. They had Agent State Farm with Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? They understand very clearly that people buy from people. And so if there's a face tied to the brand, they will be more willing to buy. So no matter if you're running a business or a personal brand, I would say put your face out there and throw a bright yellow, exciting background, get a nice clean picture from a portrait and slap it on there. And what that is going to do is allow all the value that you provide through your content, whether it's entertaining or educational or edutainment in the middle, they're going to tie that value to your face so that whenever you can, and this is really powerful because as you start to build a following and you have all that value tied to your face, you can start to rely on just having your face in the frame as a hook instead of having to throw something that's scroll stopping, because people have gained so much value from you in the past, they're going to stop what they're doing and listen to you. All right, that pretty much does it for this video. Very quick, easy understanding. Just keep your branding simple. YouTube banners. I've noticed that a lot of great brands are using screenshots from actual comments that they like and throwing it up in the banner, and that incentivizes people to engage more to possibly get their comment featured on the YouTube banner. But it's really not super important. What's important is just trying to line up a consistent theme across all your social media profiles, making sure you don't get scammed in any way, protecting yourself from that. And the last thing that I want you to do is with your bios, I see a lot of people, especially personal brand creators, put a ton of different links to all the different affiliated products that they're messing around with. It's not a terrible strategy, but I think it's smarter to try to funnel people in and having one avatar that you're trying to serve and one product that you're trying to get them to. So if it's a funnel, you're trying to get people to a landing page, to a squeeze page for their email address, get them into your content ecosystem, get them into your newsletter, get them into your free Skool, link down below if you want to check it out. I would recommend just having one sole link, 1 to 2 at the most, because that's the whole point behind landing pages too. If you have a bunch of buttons on your website, they're going to be super distracted on where they want to click. But if you have one sole focus and all your content is telling people to go check out the pinned video, or you can have a mini chat system, and we'll talk about that later, where you can DM someone a specific link. If you DM them 10 different links, how do you know they're going to go where you want them to go? But if you give them one option, tell them why they should go, and then they go, I think you're going to have a much better click-through rate and better conversions. That's what I've seen, and I used to have like 5 or 6 links in my bio. Not anymore. And that's pretty much all we need to talk about with setting up your profiles and bios. So let's get into the next video, which is content research and ideation. Okay, welcome to the next video. Content research and ideation. Out of the entire course, this video is the most important, so I would hate for you to skip and miss something that's super vital for your success. So don't skip ahead. Don't skip this video. Pro tip though, if you want to speed things up, watch it on 2 times speed, because that's what I always do. Researching is great. Abraham Lincoln talks about if he had 9 hours to cut down a tree, he would spend the first 6 sharpening the axe. Okay, so ideation is a muscle, right? Your mind is a muscle that you have to work out, just like your body, just like anything. You have to practice coming up with good ideas. And odds are a majority of your ideas, a lot of the ideas for experienced creators are crap, right? But the more that you practice, the more that you end up getting out little nuggets, right? I think this applies for long form videos as well as short form videos. And so I'm just going to give you pretty much every resource that I've ever found that has been helpful to me in coming up with content creation ideas. I'm just going to give it away to you for free. So the first thing you probably want to do though is to understand your audience, right? And if you are building a personal brand and you're focused on driving traffic to something specific in your niche, whether you're talking about content creation or gardening or anything like that, obviously you want to stay on topic and keep your content valuable. But I've discovered that like the more niche your content is, the more specific your content is, the higher probability that your audience is going to buy from you, right? But if you want to reach the broad audiences, you need to also talk about more broadly appealing things, right? Because that's how you get people interested. And we talk about series stacking, niching up, niching down, niching adjacent down the road, and later in this course. So we'll go into all of that. But the reason I bring that up is just you want to understand when we're coming up with good ideas, we need to think about what is our purpose, right? What are we trying to do? Are we trying to broadly appeal to everyone? Are we trying to appeal to just a couple of people? And when it comes to short form mastery, I would say short form tends to lie more towards the top of funnel. And so our video ideas really need to be broadly appealing. And we're going to teach you ways to make those videos more appealing to an audience through storytelling, payoffs, hooks, isms, sound design, stuff like that later. But where do you start? The algorithms, which we talked about before, are so good at reading people's interest that we can actually hack their skills and bring us new content ideas. Imagine hopping onto an account and every single time you open up Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, it brings you new video ideas that you can put your own twist on. It's crazy. The way that you do this is to simply season an account. Now, what I want you to do is, I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably have some personal accounts that you watch stuff on, maybe a business account and stuff like that. I want you to put all that aside, and I want you to create a new TikTok, a new Instagram, and a new YouTube channel. I haven't really found, like Facebook you can do as well, but I think it's a little bit overkill because you can find Instagram Reels from Facebook as well through your Instagram feed. So it's pretty much, I feel like Meta, TikTok, and YouTube are the main three that you need to focus on. So I want you to open up a new account on each of them. And it can be anything, like just, it doesn't matter what you package it or brand it as or anything like that. We're not going to post any content to this. What I want you to do is search out on each platform, subscribe and follow a bunch of the accounts that are in the niche that you want to create content in, right? This might sound simple, right? And you're probably already following profiles and accounts that have inspired you maybe to start creating or talk about your your passions, your hobbies and stuff like that. But with this account, I need you to follow all of these accounts again on this brand new thing. I want you to like the posts, and then I want you to watch each video, like 5 to 10 videos on each of those accounts that you followed. I want you to watch it all the way through, as long as it's talking about topics that are in your niche, right? I want you to watch it all the way through, and then I want you to go to the next platform and do that as well. These will probably take you maybe 10 to 20 minutes, and maybe a little bit longer if you don't have platforms or profiles in mind that are creating content in the niche that you want to create content in. So you might have to do some searching and find people. But once you comment, you don't have to comment, but you can comment. But watch the videos all the way through, because that's super important, because the algorithms pay attention to your average view duration. And this is also a good exercise for you to understand how the algorithm works if you're unfamiliar with it. So the algorithm is going to pay attention to you watching these videos all the way through. So it's going to think that you are a very satisfied and interested person in that niche. And then I want you to close out, and that's your task for the day. Do that over the top 3, subscribe on YouTube, consume some shorts, maybe some long form videos. All this is called is seasoning your accounts. I have done this multiple times, and right now I have an account called Jesse's Music Research, And I used to use this to find new music tracks to use in my videos, because I didn't want to go searching for music tracks on my other brand accounts, because I didn't want it suggesting videos to me that were like music tracks. I don't want to be recommended music tracks. I want to be recommended content around what I was creating content around. So you can do this for anything. You can do this for music. You can do this for content ideas. What you're going to do is, after you've done all that for day one, your task, then you're going to close out of it. And then you're going to come back the next 24 hours, and then you're just going to be suggested a ton of content that has to do with that niche that you were interested in. And you'll get a handful of videos that aren't in the niche, and all that's happening is the algorithm is just testing to see if you're interested in other things, because odds are you're not just interested in one specific thing, and so it's going to keep testing different broadly appealing things. But what you need to do is stay focused when you're on this account and only like the things that have to do with that niche. Like it, watch it all the way through, follow the account if it's new, and then you get out. You do that a couple times and you're going to be only suggested content from your niche. And now you just have a platform. Now you have 3 platforms bringing you content ideas from that thing or that specific idea that is, all of them are going to be viral, or all of them are going to be performing well, because it's going to serve you the best performing videos in that topic. And then you can start studying, understand the hooks, see what they did. Is it personal brands? Is it business accounts? What are they saying? You can get really granular with it. And this is exactly what I did with my ice bath series. I seasoned my account. I found a bunch of different ice bath influencers to see what they were doing. And then once I started analyzing their hooks, I analyzed their best performing videos. I actually wrote out their entire transcript, and you can actually download it off of YouTube. And I didn't know this at the time. You could just go like to YouTube and download the transcript. But like I wrote out by hand every single word to find commonalities in the viral videos from the influencers and the people that were creating content that I was creating content in. And because of that, I was able to understand the structure of why these hooks worked, why these payoffs were so interesting, why people were staying to the end of the video. Like, it really helped me craft my series. And in my opinion, I took all the best pieces from all these people that were doing work, because they're creating content and they're failing, they're succeeding, they're getting data. And so the beautiful thing about public data is that it's public, and you can extract that if you just have the willingness to take time and analyze it. And so that's what we want to do. We want to leverage as much content research as possible by utilizing, and there's views for everyone. So I don't even like calling them competitors, but you can call them competitors if you want. That is one of the fastest ways to figure out what is working. And please do not copy word for word content from other people, because if you ever have a chance to work with them, you're going to blow up with the stuff that I give you in this course. And when you do, you're going to get noticed by them. And if they see that they inspired you and you ripped them off completely with no credit and really just word for word verbatim, you're going to have a hard time ever getting any kind of goodwill with them or an opportunity to work with them and make awesome videos down the road. And I definitely burned some bridges doing this, like with some of my ice bath influencers. I was so closely related to some of them that it was a bummer, because I would have loved to work with some of these people, but you live and learn, right? And so when you're creating content and you're first starting out in a niche, or really in general, you don't really know what you're doing. So model what is working and then sprinkle in your personal twist, your personality, and start trying to develop differentiating things. Take the model of what is working and then do it in your own way, and start to analyze what works. And that is how you start to become an expert level content creator. And when someone pops off with a new content format, then you're going to be able to capitalize it and understand why it works. I remember when Caleb Simpson, I believe his last name's Simpson, but he was like one of the first people to walk up to random people on the street and ask, where do you live? Or how much do you pay for rent in New York, right? And that series was extremely broadly appealing. And after that, all these content creators started interviewing people on the street. And whether you think that's annoying or not, that's where it started, right? And so once a new format is discovered, a lot of people try to jump on it. But not everyone gets the goodwill from the creators that inspired them, because some people just rip them off, and some people take and steal like an artist and then apply their own color, their own style, their own format to it. And that's how you build a personal brand or an iconic business brand. Let's season the accounts to bring content ideas, analyze what works, and then we're going to start making our own videos. And all right, now that you understand the algorithms, we've set up your profile in the way that makes sense and it's uniform across all the big 4 platforms, and you understand how to make the algorithms bring you content ideas and how to analyze them so that you can produce content that's working in your niche or outside the niche that you're in. Now it's time for the next lesson. Let's talk about the tangible parts of a viral video. Now let's talk about the viral video, all the building blocks. I'm so excited for this video, guys. I've been waiting for this the entire course. We get to break down and tell you all the little pieces that you can implement into your own videos to help improve traffic, get more views, and make your viewers enjoy your videos so much more. I'm going to lay it all out for you. And the best part is we're going to talk about the tangible side as well as the psychological side in the next video. So let's break it down. Out of the entire course, this video is the most important, so I would hate for you to skip and miss something that's super vital for your success. So don't skip ahead. Don't skip this video. Pro tip though, if you want to speed things up, watch it on 2x speed, because that's what I always do. Most people do not believe me when I say this, but 90% of your effort needs to be put on the hook. The hook is by far the most important part of the short form video. You can have, quite literally, give somebody $1 million at the end of your short. But if you do not have a good hook, no one's going to stick around to see the end, because nobody will even get past 1 to 3 seconds into your video. And that's the thing. Like, we tend to focus so much on the editing and the storytelling and everything, sound design in the middle of the video, like the meat of the video. It doesn't matter. It does not matter if you don't put emphasis on the start of the video. So you get the idea. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but we have to create effective hooks. And I mean, we talk about this in the analytics section, but like, if you don't put your best foot forward, odds are you're going to get skipped. There's just too many people creating too many good pieces of content for people to even give you the time of day. Even if it's 15 to 60 seconds, you have to make every second worth their while. And if you're a new creator, you also have an additional hurdle. And I don't say this to discourage you, but I need you to understand everything is built against you right now. Because another hurdle that you have to overcome, in addition to the learning curve of what is a good effective hook, is there's a social proof in when it comes to the hook. I don't know about you, but a safe bet would be you act the exact same way that I do. But when you're scrolling on social media, you'll come across a video that might be visually interesting, but if it's like in the middle, if you're not quite super enthralled with it, and hooked immediately, you might cut your eyes over to the right side of the screen and see how many likes or comments or shares that the video has. And depending on how much social proof it has on the right side of the screen, will kind of tip you over the edge one way or the other, whether you're going to scroll or you're going to stick around and see the end of the video. And I do it too. It's like something automatic that we all go through. And as a young creator, you just have to overcome this. And it doesn't necessarily mean, I used to think this meant like super, super fast paced videos, which is a strategy. You can keep people visually engaged in the center of the screen so that they don't even have time to check the social proof over on the right side of the screen. But it's not only just fast-paced things. And if you look down below, underneath the call to actions, I'm going to list a list of 100 decently sized hooks to get your brain going. So even if you have no idea where to start, you can just swipe those, throw them in your Notion or your scripting platform, whatever you're using. And I have something coming out for my premium group that I am so excited about. I'm training an AI bot right now on thousands of effective hooks so that you can put in a video idea and like tell the AI bot everything about your video, and in return it will spit out a it will spit out a perfectly crafted hook with social proof so that you can hook your audience. I'm so excited to bring it to you, but it's not ready yet, so don't calm down. But when it does come out, and it'll be in the premium group, so you can check that out down below if you want to see that. But I'm super excited to bring that. If you're not interested, totally fine. You can swipe 100 hooks that are right down below, completely free for you. And these are proven hooks to work. Like I took these from the internet. I've used some of them, but most of them I've taken from effective content that has proven to get views. It's not necessary, but I do like the idea of engaging as many senses as possible. The way you can do this is obviously visually. You can have interesting shots in the first frame. Quick cuts is another good way to allow people to process information quickly. Sound. I love using music. I don't like using it too loud to the point where it's distracting. I like using sound effects. I said earlier in this course, you can use sound design to elevate your video. Even if you're filming on a video, on a cell phone, that's what people are most likely expecting the video to look like, but you can elevate the experience with a sound design that is something that they probably wouldn't have expected to get from you. So you can engage their senses through sound design as well. But something that I also like to do, in addition to quick cuts in the beginning frames, is to use text, right? And I have experimented with a couple different formats for text. You got the Alex Hormozy style, where it's like a couple words on the top, couple words at the bottom. The words flash; those seem to work. I've also used the Isaiah photo, one word text on the screen. It just flashes really quickly. I've even done it with a little animation, and it's stuff like that. And this helps keep people engaged by allowing them to process the information visually as well as hear you narrate the same exact words that are being said. So something I've also been testing and seeing that works extremely well is having blocks of text with a polarizing or gripping headline just flashed on screen, because odds are, even if you have text of the words that are flashing on screen, it might be more effective for you to literally flash the giant block of text that is like extremely gripping, almost like a headline, because people can read so fast and you want to catch their attention. You have to catch their attention. That is the only option for you to get through those first 3 seconds. Another super effective thing that you can do to make your hooks more effective is to tie whatever payoff you have in the video, and you better have a payoff for your video. But if you have a payoff in your video, you can tie it to the hook or announce it in the hook or show a sneak peek of the payoff in the hook so that there's an open loop. There's a curiosity loop that's opened up. And as long as you fulfill that curiosity loop at the end of the video, people are going to stay to the end. And I want to warn you against using any kind of clickbaity hook, because the term clickbaiting is essentially baiting them into clicking, but not providing the promised result of whatever you got them into the video with. And so you might get a lot of views, man. And I've never done this intentionally, but I've seen people that have intentionally misled others by like saying that something happened in the video or portraying that something happened in the video just to make it more extreme. But then when you get to the end of the video, nothing happened. And I just have to say, it's not worth it, man. The views that you would get on one video is not worth tons and tons of people hitting do not recommend channel or do not recommend account after they watch the video. It's the algorithms and the platforms have made it pretty easy for people to tell the algorithm if they like a video or if they don't like a video. And so I would just highly encourage you, do not take the cheap route and try to get views on one video, because odds are it's not going to work. But even if it does, you're not going to get a lot of loyal fan base. You're going to get a lot of people that are annoyed that they just spent 60 seconds. And I know it's only 60 seconds, but people are, I don't want to say selfish, but they know when someone screwed them over, and they'll let you know in the comment section, which will drive up engagement and possibly push your video out to more people. But what is the point? You're just going to get your video pushed out to more people and just tick them off. So if you're all about creating a loyal fan base, then that is definitely not the move. You just need to learn to make better videos, make better hooks. And if you're getting hooks that are getting attention, but you're not paying them off, then we can talk about fixing the payoffs, which leads us into the next segment. I just wanted to talk about lighting really quickly. It's not a big point with short form video, but I have noticed that unless the hook is extremely intriguing in some way, shape, or form, videos with darker frames in the first couple seconds tend to do worse than videos that are well lit, brighter, and catch more attention. I don't understand the psychology behind that. Just to be honest, I'm not trying to blow smoke, but it's just a trend that I've noticed. So if you're doing a talking head, make sure you have artificial light or use light from a window or something like that. Just make sure you're decently lit so that people can understand as soon as they get to the video what is going on. That's a great rule of thumb. Now, I wanted to give you a sneak peek because we will talk more about sound design later in the course, but I just wanted to give you a basic level and some actionable things that you can implement immediately into your videos to maybe enhance them. So as far as sound design goes, probably some of my most used sound effects are going to be risers. And here's a couple different ones. As you can see, I've got a bunch of different ones, and I will link those down in the description of this video so you can grab those for yourself. Another thing that I probably have used a little bit overkill of, but it's so good when you use it appropriately, is, drum hits. And I've got a couple that I absolutely love. I'll give them to you for free. It's totally fine. You can keep them. You don't have to thank me. But, and I have like a list of hundreds and hundreds of sound effects. But I've found that even when I have bought libraries of sound effects, that sometimes it's a little overwhelming. And instead, what's been more effective for me as a content creator in growing my sound design skills has been to have a subscription service like Epidemic Sound, and I'll link that down. It's a great platform. I know there's quite a few. I've just always used Epidemic Sound for a lot of my music and all of my sound effects needs. And what I've done is I've just stayed really, really organized, because when I would sit down to edit a project and I would get to a point where I'm doing sound design and I need a sound effect and I didn't have it, I would go to Epidemic, search for it, find it, download it, and then put it into my library exactly. So every sound effect got put manually. And I know that sounds like a lot of work, but for me, it has helped a lot, because you remember things when you use them, right? And that's why I want you to take action with this whole course. It's the same exact concept. And so I tend to remember the sound effects that I have downloaded, and it actually unlocks more creativity for me when I'm editing a future project. And I'm like, man, what could I use here to enunciate or help this feel punchier or something like that? I'm like, that. There you have it with sound design. I want you to stay organized. You can grab the sound effects down below for free. I hope you use them. Tag me in the video if you use a sound effect, because I love sound design. Something else to note on the sound design with songs. TikTok, I don't know what's going on over there. At the time of this recording, like, they just dropped a massive deal with a music label company. And so a lot of people's viral videos have just gotten muted because they didn't have access or permission to use the songs anymore. I have personally always downloaded the songs. Even if they're trending online, I will download them and then throw them into my editing timeline and then adjust the volumes and stuff like that. Because I found that a lot of people claim that trending songs is a powerful way for you to like go viral and stuff. I've never done that. I've used trending songs because people enjoy listening to them, but I've never used the trending song ranking method, right? And I'm not knocking it. A lot of people have. And if you were so desperate to include that strategy, you can download the song, throw it into your timeline, adjust the levels and stuff like that. And then when you go to upload it on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you can like also select the song and then just like drop the volume to like 1 or 0. But I have never seen an increase in views based on, I've never ranked, right, for a song. So I'm not going to sit here and preach to you that it's necessarily an effective strategy. I've seen other people rank, but I'm more interested in creating solid videos that every single person that comes across your video gets hit with a dopamine and a good feeling, and they're like, wow, I love hanging out with this guy. I'm going to follow him, and I hope to see the video tomorrow, right? That's what I'm more interested in, because so what if you get a bunch of views using a trending song? How many of them stuck around? How many more people followed you, right, because of the value that you were bringing to the table? That's what I think the focus should be on, but there you have it. There's the strategy behind sound design. All right, now let's talk about storytelling. I think this is one of the most powerful concepts in short form mastery, simply because most people don't think it can be done. I completely disagree. Storytelling, do not overcomplicate this. It is setup, conflict, resolution. Setup, conflict, resolution. That's it. I want you to cement that into your brain. Setup, conflict, resolution. And even though it's not complicated, it definitely makes the video creation process a little bit trickier, just because it takes a little bit more thought. I ran 2 social media short form series on my personal brand to grow it to 1.2 million followers. I was doing push-ups and I was doing ice baths. And in both of those, I figured out how to tell a story in every single video. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the audience didn't get fatigued by a similar story being told every single day. And since then, I've learned of some strategies to keep people more engaged and to avoid audience fatigue. But my point in bringing this up right now is with my ice bath series, I would get in, I would take an ice bath, and I would get out, okay? Setup. I'm going to take an ice bath today. Conflict. I get into the ice bath and it sucks. Resolution. I finish the ice bath and I get out. That is literally the story with my push-ups. Setup. I'm going to do 500 push-ups today per 1,000 followers. Conflict. It sucks doing 500 push-ups today. Resolution. I finished the push-ups. That's it. And I see stories. Once you start thinking about setup conflict resolution, you start to see it everywhere. You start to see it in trailers, in movies, in short form videos. And this goes back to one of my original first lessons in this whole week one. When short form creators came onto the scene, it exposed a massive gap in the market of short form storytelling, because usually it took long form videos for you to experience a setup conflict resolution. And long form videos was like in competition with movies like Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and stuff like that, because that was a much broader version of a setup conflict resolution, and it's a lot more complicated at that level. But when you condense it down to 60 to 90 seconds, you have no choice but to condense the story aspect to a setup, conflict, and resolution as well. So I want you to start thinking about things that way. Now, if you want to take this story aspect and put it on steroids, you can also look at resolutions as having payoffs, okay? What is the payoff? You get someone to watch your video, how are they going to be rewarded for that? Something that I have found that works really, really well is to have multiple payoffs in one video. How do you do that? Well, for example, with my ice bath series, I would set it up and tell them that I'm going to take an ice bath, which is uncomfortable. And so that obviously introduces an element of conflict. The payoff immediately after the hook was established was me getting into the ice bath as quickly as possible and showing my reaction to the cold. So setup, conflict, and the resolution would be me getting out of the ice bath. But most people are so smart enough, they can imagine what it's going to look like after I get out. You know, I just stand up, get out of the ice bath. So it's not really a strong payoff. The payoff in that first few moments was the reaction to the cold. That was the dopamine, funny, serotonin, inspirational hit that a viewer got on the other side of the screen. So what I did afterwards is I created a new payoff immediately after I got in and gave them that first payoff. What I did was I created an element of a personal record that I was trying to break at the end of the video. For me, with the ice bath, it was holding my breath underwater. Okay, I would flash text on screen in the middle of the video as soon as people saw my reaction, to open up a new curiosity loop for them to wonder if I was going to successfully beat my PR when it came to taking ice baths, right? And so I built the tension in the video to that ending point to see if I broke the if I broke the breath hold. And so the second payoff was the breath hold attempt at the end of the video. Same exact thing with the push-up series. I realized that, like, okay, people can probably imagine after they see the first 100 what the next 400 push-ups are going to be like. So I needed to create a multiple payoff system. And so what I came up with was, what if I try to do a personal record for my first 100 and then allow people to see if I break my first 100, and then we do a payoff at the end of the video by finishing my 500th push-up, okay? So that's what I started to do, and it worked really, really well. In fact, it worked so well that people started DMing me their personal times on their 100 push-ups. So it became this competitive thing. So think about different little stories that you can do or fit into the much larger story. Okay, now we're going to talk about probably one of the most viral inducing elements of a video. And if you've never heard of this, you've probably seen them in the comments, you've probably seen them in videos, but you didn't realize what they were. I'm about to give you the unlock completely for free. This will literally can make videos go viral just on their own. Get a little excited about it, but I want to introduce isms to you. And I have a ton of examples down below. All isms are little pattern interrupts that cause people to say, wait, what was that? What was that in the video, right? And then they will immediately go to the comments to see if anyone else saw that. There are so many examples out there, great examples. I've got quite a few great examples down below, even from my own account. And honestly, probably one of the best ways is just to show you. But if I had to explain it, what you basically want to do is intentionally implement something in your videos that will cause people to possibly re-engage their brain if in fact they are switching off for any reason. These can be innuendos, quirky things, totally strange, off the wall things, random things in the background. There's so many. It's really hard to quantify this, but I just want you to go down in the description and check out some examples. Okay, and one of the last things that I want to give you is incentivized engagement. And this might sound like a simple call to action, and if you want to paint it that way, that's fine. But what I've found is that people care about what they feel like they can control. And so if you give them a reason to comment something, whether if you're doing a series and you have something that is getting named by the top comment, or in fact, as a great example, Reed Harrington has one of the most liked comments on Instagram because he allowed the audience to tell him what he should do once he hit 200,000 followers. And you want to talk about incentivized engagement. The top comment got over 3 million likes. It's something ridiculous like that. That is a perfect example of people caring about what they feel like they can control. I've got a couple more examples. Like if you've ever heard of Eric, when he was trying to blow up on YouTube a couple years ago, he ran a long form series and he had these videos where he asked people, what should I do for X or something like that? And everyone gave comments, and then he took those comments and created whole videos out of them. And then he shouted out the person that made the comment, and that incentivized engagement for all future commenters, right? Another aspect of, or another example of someone caring about what they feel like they can control, Ryan Trahan used to do a penny series where he traveled across America off of one penny. And there was an added tension that was going through the whole series because it was based around the fact that people could donate to a good cause and influence what happens in the video. And no one was probably going to be able to afford the $50,000 donation, but what that $50,000 donation did was it reset him back to one penny. People care about what they feel like they can control, even if they aren't the ones controlling it. It just is an attention grabber. And so they obviously had some brands that donated that, and which influenced the story, influenced what happens. And yeah, so think about that. If you're trying to build a story or something like that, or a continued story through multiple episodes, think about what the audience could do to influence, or how could you get the audience involved, whether it's naming something, giving you suggestions on things to do in the content. Like there's so many different ways. I remember I have a brother named Josh, and when I was doing my push-up series, just one random episode, I thought it would be really funny if I just told everyone to tell Josh in the comments that I'm coming for him, right? And it was just, me and my brother are always just playing with each other, but I got like 1,000 comments, and I was averaging like 50 to 100 at the time. And they were all saying like, Josh, he's coming for you. Josh, he's coming for you. It was hilarious. And that video skyrocketed in views compared to the rest because I incentivized an engagement to cause the algorithms to push the video quite a bit more. Doesn't have to be complicated. Just play around with different incentivize. Some will hit, some will flop. It's totally fine. You just got to keep playing. Okay, and there you have it. That is the tangible aspects of a viral video. I'm super pumped for you to use these things. I want you to tag me in the free community and show me some of the videos that you're making. And maybe I'll even give some feedback. But I'm so excited for you to use these elements and totally, absolutely crush short form video. And guess what? We're not done yet because we got some other stuff coming in the next video. And don't forget to check down below for tons of examples on hooks, isms, payoffs, storytelling. What else? Oh, don't forget the sound design. I'm giving you some free samples with risers and drops. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Let's go. So now that we've covered the tangible parts of a viral video, there's some things that I've discovered after growing a social media account to over 500,000 followers and my total audience to 1.2 million. There's some pieces that have performed better than others, and I've noticed across social media, not just my own account, that there are some psychological pieces that really can help, quite frankly, make your videos perform better. And it does bring the question to mind that if you should even ethically use these, but I don't know, I'll leave that up for you to decide. But I just wanted to share and educate this on the psychological side of a viral video. Out of the entire course, this video is the most important, so I would hate for you to skip and miss something that's super vital for your success. So don't skip ahead. Don't skip this video. Pro tip though, if you want to speed things up, watch it on 2x speed, because that's what I always do. And the first thing I want to talk about is emotional engagement. Okay. Quite frankly, simply, the more real you are, the more hate you will get, right? But the more real you are, the more you allow people to peel back the curtain behind this social media highlight reel, pun intended, that everyone puts out on the internet. People love to show how awesome they are and everything that they are doing, but not everyone is feeling like that 100% of the time. And odds are, if you peel back the curtain and share a more emotional side of things that you're going through, odds are you'll probably get some hate. And that's just, it is what it is. Hate for people saying like, why the heck would you share this, or whatever. Who knows what they're going to come up with. But you're also going to touch the heart of someone that's probably going through something similar to you. And I have found, if we're just talking about video performance, if I can make somebody feel something, those videos tend to do a lot better. And it can be encouragement, it can be inspirational, but I want you to think a little bit deeper, instead of, and this goes to a little bit more personal stuff. Like if you're trying to, it really dives into why are we creating content in the first place. Like I think at one point I was creating content to prove to the world that I am worthy of something, and eventually I achieved a level of success and then realized that I could care less about their opinion of me, right? And if that's the case, then it left me wondering why the heck was I creating anymore? And then I tapped into a new phase, which was quite spiritual for me, to start creating content to try and inspire others, not by showing them how great I am, but simply just encouraging someone to just go one more day, right? And that left me, pretty spent, right? Because you get a lot of DMs from people saying like, hey, your content is the reason I didn't commit suicide today. And that's kind of a heavy burden to carry sometimes if you're not prepared for it, but it's a much higher calling. And we're getting into much deeper stuff than I intended. I'm bringing it back though. Psychologically, if you can make somebody feel something, make them feel seen, make them feel not alone, those videos will tend to do more, and you'll have much more influence and impact on their life. And I'm not just talking about like from getting them to buy something from you, but like truly making an impact on someone's life. I think everyone would probably agree, even if it's not their main goal, that having a positive influence on someone else's life is a pretty sweet gig, you know? At least it's something to talk about at Thanksgiving, right? Like, yeah, I inspire people around the world to be the best version of themselves. Like, that's freaking cool to talk about. So, and that goes more into content strategy than viral video strategy, but there you go. I shared it for free. But stuff like that. Also, when it comes to shareability, and we talked about this earlier, that the algorithms are looking for videos that are either drawing high view times, low scroll through rates, or lots of engagement through comments, and most importantly, shares and saves, right? If someone saves your video so that they can come back and watch it again, it's a great sign. Shareability, though, is probably one of the most viral aspects that someone can influence on your video. If you create a video that is so impactful that it reminds them of someone that's going through something like that, and they share that video with that person, and then that person feels seen, like it's just a content flywheel that's going to continue to skyrocket. So, and if you build your whole channel around stuff like that, that's where things get crazy, because people start to trust you as a source for truth and light. And that's where things can really start to take off, especially when it comes to personal brand or counseling, stuff like that. So that is that. Something else, another psychological element of viral videos is really just having your pulse on the internet, not living under a rock, and understanding maybe some social, cultural events that are happening. Because truth be told, like lots and lots of videos go viral based on society talking about certain aspects. So I remember seeing so much content around Oppenheimer and Barbie when the blockbuster movies were coming out. I don't know when you're watching this, but it was like a massive marketing campaign that they were releasing on the same day. Everyone was talking about, are you team Oppenheimer or are you team Barbie? Who are you going to go see first? Because most people went and saw both of them. But like, I remember seeing lots of entertainment creators create content around like dressing up as the superhero for the movie that was coming out, or dressing up 100 superheroes and stuff like that. So just have an idea on what is happening in the, and you don't have to know everything. Simply, if you just take a little bit of time during the week to like scroll through, and you start to hear a trending song multiple times, maybe take note of that, or just tap the song and save it for later, right? Just pay attention. Don't just scroll mindlessly on social media. You need to come into the internet with a purpose to research. Always be researching. And lastly, this is something that I have learned from my good friend Jenny. She taught me a lot about storytelling with a twist, okay? And this kind of plays into my isms that I talked about earlier, but it's really just something that really pattern interrupts wherever you think the story is going. Nope, we're going this way. And it usually happens at the end of the video. Sometimes it's tied up with the payoff of the video, but if you can have unpredictability and novelty with your videos, what this does is it not only helps your individual video improve because people weren't expecting that, so they might watch it again, which increases your watch time, makes people comment, did you see that? That was hilarious. Wasn't expecting that. Right. You get the idea. Gets shares to other people because it's a funny twist at the end of the video. But if you create videos consistently that have a lot of these elements that we talked about in this course, and you are providing, I want to say dopamine, but it's kind of a buzzword, so I'll just simply say like value. If you're creating values consistently, it doesn't matter if the videos are different, right? And this was something that I learned because I made videos in a very consistent format, but I saw other creators that were creating videos about all kinds of different things. And you can achieve success with both of these ways. But if you want to create videos around any kind of topics, what you need to do is ensure that the quality of the video is extremely high so that even though on paper it might look like you're scatterbrained, every single piece of content that someone consumes from you, they leave a happier or smarter person. Okay? The secret that I've discovered is to not be known necessarily for a specific type of video. It's to be known for the value that you give in that video. That way, no matter what kind of video that you make, if your face is on it, people are going to be like, oh yeah, I'm excited to laugh. I'm excited to be happy. I'm excited to be scared. Whatever kind of content that you're creating, you achieve a specific result at the end of every single one of your videos. And you can achieve that through novelty, unpredictability, emotional involvement, and honestly, just quality content. So there you have it. There you have all the building blocks for viral videos. And then I can't wait to see what you guys make.